Hi, I'm Liz. Welcome back if you're coming back, and welcome if you're new. I'm all about being a maker. I knit, crochet, cross stitch, sew, quilt, spin, felt, draw, whatever I feel like, dabbling in. So, and this is Clyde. He's my little Yorkie. So today I have a finished object. I've had him finished for a little while now. He is one of my creations that I thought up, and I've been writing pattern for him, and now I'm starting him again. So he's actually a finished object / work in progress, because he's my prototype. And I say he because as I was making him, I just determined he was a he. So this is my forest friend, as I'm calling him. And I didn't give him a name. I think my son was calling him Gloom Shroom, but I didn't really give him a name. He's just my forest friend. So in my brain, I envision him being actual size for a forest friend. And let's see. I've never even once held a ruler up to him. So what is he here? All the way up to the tip of his hat from the bottom of his feet. It looks like he is a good 13 inches. So let's talk about this little guy. Just don't get excited. I'm not putting out a pattern. When I create patterns, I write down what I did for myself, because this is my hobby. This is what I do for my own pleasure. And putting a pattern out there would leave me open for all the I don't know how to explain it. I know people complain about patterns and all kinds of stuff, but I don't think a lot of people realize how much effort and time goes into making and creating a pattern for an object that has been created in the first place. So, I just don't at this time. That doesn't mean it won't change in the future, but at this time I just don't want to. So this is what I've done with this guy. His cape is removable. I'm not going to untie it right now, but yeah, so I did leaves to cover. He's got leaf loincloth. I made him this cape, and I hand dyed this. It turned out okay. It just wasn't really what I was envisioning. But it didn't bother me, so I went with it. I wanted him to be hidden on the carpet floor, so I kind of imagine him wandering through the forest, poking things on himself, so that when he's walking along and you're looking down, he can stop and you don't realize he's there, provided that he's in a field of mushrooms of this color. We're going with it. The next one I do probably have different colors, but this is what he turned out like. So here's the back of his cape, covered in leaves. The leaves are not my patterns. I use free YouTube tutorials. I cannot tell you which ones because I told you I finished him a while back. So look up maple leaves. I really liked the maple leaves. I think it was one of my favorite shapes. And some of these was something I did. I just took the basic knowledge of how to create a leaf and just did it. I think that was one of them. But I preferred the maple leaves, I think. And then I did little polymer clay things. So here's leaves. leaf, there's a rose, and I turned them into little buttons and then sewed them on that way. He is holding in his hands, he's about to drop it here, polymer clay mushrooms I made him to hold. He's a gatherer. Here's his gathering. Okay, and okay, so let's talk about, this is a prototype. So you see I have wire, copper wire around here. I have some around his neck. I have some around his knees and some around his ankles. Serves two purposes. One, I think it looks kind of cool, like it's his cultural thing. You know, you got the giraffe ladies with the wire around the neck. You've got people with, I don't know, different cultures have different things for themselves. So this is forest fairies garb and stuff, right? Okay, so, but the real reason I did it is because I used pipe cleaners. It's what I had on hand. And I thought surely, because in his fingers, he has, how many fingers? I can't remember. He has three fingers and one thumb. So I thought, okay, that would be 4 pipe cleaners, and then they would be wrapped around each other going up the arm. So I thought, oh, that'll be, let me like adjust him and bend him. Pipe cleaners are way too wimpy. I don't care. They're just a thin wire, and I just don't recommend it. So his head, if you look at him, I don't have his head off to the side on purpose. I have his head off to the side because there's no choice, because he's wearing a heavy hat. So this hat is removable, by the way. He is a bald one. Baldy. Oh, let's see if the lighting is a little weird. So he's a little blown out. Oh, it got worse when we got closer. There we go. Okay, so he's a baldy, and inside of his hat. So that and his actual head, he's just got a heavy head. So hence why I added that copper wiring. Otherwise his head would be full. So do not be tempted. Do not use pipe cleaners. You will regret it. I regret it. I still love him and think he's cool, and I can live with him, but the one I'm doing now, I'm using actual wire. So I'm going to put him down and show you. Let me sit him down over here. Sitting him down. Okay. So the new one I'm using, okay, we're using 20 gauge. I'm pretty sure I'm right. Yeah, it's hard to see here. 20 gauge galvanized steel wire. So there you go. 20 gauge steel wire. Got it at the hardware store. So that is going to be a much better at holding up and adjusting. So here's how far I've got with the new one, following my written direction. I got fuzzies on this. Oops. My dogs are shedding right now. They're labs. I have 3 labs and a husky German Shepherd mix. Unless you put it in a plastic bag and vacuum a lot. Okay, so these guys, I have finished the arms. That's how far I've got with the new one. And also don't get excited, because just because I finished the arms does not mean this is going to be hammered out like anytime, like uber soon. These probably take me, because they're intricate. Every row you have to count your stitches and place stitches. Stitches here, subtract stitches there. It is shaping. This is creating shaping. So you might say I sculpt with crochet. That's what I like to do. So just because I finished the little arms. Now, I'm always going for kind of like the creepy look. You know, we used to run around a place I worked and we'd be like, we were just being funny. Okay. So this is the start of those, but definitely if you're going to be using wires inside of any toys, like the pattern for that Monkfish Sam I showed you last week, it calls for some wire framing in that in the pattern. And yes, just use the right wire the first time. Don't try to do like cheapy things that, I guess sometimes you have things lying around that are stout. That's fine, but otherwise, once weight of any sort is added, it just is too wimpy to actually adjust, because this arm would be a lot straighter than it is if I didn't have the wire in it to bend him. All right. So, and with these guys, when I make the body frame and stuff, these will get braided in upon the body frame as I go up. And then eventually there'll be a group of the wires that go up the neck. So that'll be heavy support for the head. All right. So that's the work in progress. Is I am following my written instructions for this guy. All right. So here's my big ball of, I think it's just a crew. And this was a thrift store find. So I probably paid a couple bucks for this, and it is a massive ball. I mean, look, it goes all the way back down in there. It's a lot. Okay. So keep your eyes open at a thrift store. Oh, just so you know, I really like these old frame bags. They pop open, but you can also close them up. All right. And then next is a work in progress. Last week I said I want to start at socks, but I said I can't because I have things I need to finish. Well, I always have things I need to finish. I could have upwards of 10 plus works in progress. It's just wherever my brain is traveling at the moment. But I started socks. I had a CPR class, a medications class. The other half of my medications class is next week. And then I have to do my shoulder. I had shoulder surgery in March, and I have to go get a shoulder injection to dilate it because I ended up with scar tissue, and this is as high as I can lift my arm. You're supposed to be able to lift your arm higher. So I formed some scar tissue that caused me some frozen shoulder, which fortunately hasn't affected my knitting or crocheting or drawing or things like that, but wide range motion stuff is not good. So I needed things to work on in the car, because it's like anywhere from, some of them it takes us 40 minutes to get there in the car. Other ones the shoulder one's going to take us an hour and 45 minutes to get there. So I needed something to work on because I can't bring him. That's too much intricate. That's too much counting and crochet and looking and reading. And I get car sick if I read in the car. So I needed socks. Something small, because my big queen size blanket is not going to be good for in the car. Here's my garbage bag of a project bag. No, it's too big. So let's talk about socks. I bought on Black Friday for Joann's some Peyton's Croy sock yarn. It's really good stout yarn. I haven't wore holes in. It took a very long time before my first pair wore a little hole in it. So I would say it's pretty sturdy. So they had this color, which is called flax, and this color, red. And it reminded me of sock monkeys. And so I was like, ooh, I need sock monkey yarn. Even though I know originally it was work socks that people turned into sock monkeys, not the other way around. So I got these and started socks. All right, so let's talk socks. First of all, my bag. It's from, Lolly Lala. She is on Ravelry, and these are little miniatures of a lot of the crochet patterns and creatures she makes. I recommend her highly. I will be showing you some of her work later, not today. Go check her out. She has really well written, lovely patterns. Okay, back to socks. Here's what I got so far. I started them in the car Monday evening. I'll give you more details about it when I finish it. I'm not gonna tell you what to cast on. This is, I'm not following a pattern. I'm just doing basically vanilla socks, which is plain socks, and I just follow what fits me. I always make the same toe, the same count number. I'm a 64 stitch on size US 1 needles, which is, I think that's 2.25. Shy goos are really hard to read. Let me see. Yeah, it's 2.5 millimeter size. Oh, these are size 1.5. Sorry. And these are the Shy Goos. Love the Shy Goos. Anyway, so I always do 2 at a time. Sometimes I do 4. I've done upwards of 6. But I always want, when I'm done, and I have a finished pair of socks. I don't do them in tandem, I think it is. I don't do them one at a time, finish one, do another one, because I'd be like, what, trying to match up the other sock. I've never done cuff down. I've always done toe up. I don't know, I really like it. It's probably because it's the only thing I've done. So here's something I do. So I've made, out of my leftover sock yarns, I made like the cozies, because I like when you cake them up, you put them in here and it keeps them all together. They don't tangle, they don't come undone on the outside, and they're kept nice and tidy. So basically it's a sock that you increase in more than one spot. So, but I think you can do it just sock if you wanted. But there's someone called her channel Nitty Natty, and I think if you want patterns for stuff like that, she has some patterns. So I started these with just the intentions of making sock monkey socks, but then I got this idea of like, ooh, what if I did color work and I did monkeys? Okay. That's not what I'm doing, but I am doing color work. So here is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to do maple leaves, but they're big enough I can only do one on the front, one on the back. And then because I don't want floats that were like a million miles long, I have created this pattern. So I have way shorter floats. I think I have a 9-stitch float that I'll have to catch. And I think that's the longest float I've left myself to have to catch. So this is going to be my pattern for my ankle. And it's only my second colorwork project ever. My first one was my poncho that I showed last week. And I got the maple leaf pattern out of this book, Knit Ovation, Stitch Dictionary by, her name is Andrea Rangel. That was, I think there were several podcasts who showed it, so see right there. But I can only fit one on each side, so I just took this part and I regrafted it, and then I did the stuff in between so the stitches wouldn't be long. I like this book. I have not read through it all. So that is my socks. When I can focus on socks, I can do a pair of socks in a couple weeks. But a lot of times I'm not that fast. Because I have to work, I have to do stuff with my kiddo, all that stuff. Okay, then, and then my blanket. I did make progress on the blanket, and considering I was sick for 3 or 4 days, well, I was definitely sick Thursday night, Friday, and Saturday. Sunday was definitely icky still. So considering that, I made really good progress with this blanket. So I'm going to show you my marker. Yeah, so here's where I left you last week. So I made some pretty good progress here. And so I'm not unhappy about it, because this blanket's going to take forever, it being an oversized queen size. So I can't expect to make huge progress. But anyway, I probably won't show it to you every week, but I'll keep track of where I was last when I talked to you last. Okay, so that's that. And so those are what I'm trying to focus on and work on. Then I posted a little short video yesterday about the upholstery the reupholstering I'm doing for my folding chairs. So if you are interested in that, go check out that video. I'm not going to discuss it a whole bunch. I'm just trying to encourage people, don't throw it away. Fix it. Like, you can recover it. It's not sewing. It's not anything. It's literally stapling fabric down and just pulling the wrinkles out, and then you put it down. Reupholstering, I wouldn't say most things. I would say 80% of things when you reupholster is not that big of a deal. And if you're going to tackle like a big recliner or something, that might be a bigger deal. I don't know, because I haven't reupholstered a recliner. I've redone and reupholstered the, you know how you kick out the feet thing that had a hole in it? I reupholstered the end, that end part there on that stuff. So did I do it correctly? No idea. Does it look good? Way better. So I'm happy with it. Okay. So if you're interested in that, go watch that little short video. Next, I want to talk to you about, I did purchase other stuff besides those 2 yarns from Joann's. Now I'm going to show you something. I'm going to work with it, but I bought these. They're the same color. Do you see a problem? I see a problem. They are not even remotely the same. This is the yarn I ordered, and it is called Sidewalk Colors. And I like to have 2 balls, even though 50 grams could probably get me quite a bit of socks, especially a full pair for me, with cuffs, heels, and toes being a different color. Also, I thought about using the red for this. So anyway, this one is also the sidewalk chalk. I've matched all the numbers, and the label is just a little different. How does that remotely look the same? I mean, I like this. I like this, but this is what I wanted. That's not... I even tried to dig it down and say, oh, well, maybe it starts different. No, it doesn't. This is this all the way through. Even if you were different dye lots, how's that even remotely the same? Anyway, I've had that happen once before. I ordered a couple balls of a different color on Amazon, and the labels said they were the same, but they were not the same at all. Not even a little bit. They were like completely different sock yarns. Anyway, I will use those two completely separately, but that's... And then I'm going... So, future project. It's a sewing project. I have a monster toy in mind. I'm not even going to try to explain it to you. And so I have got... And I don't have a pattern. It's just going to be freehand. I got a bunch of different fabrics together, and I'm going to try to make these toy monsters. I'm trying to think. I can't think of what it's called. Anyways, there's a lady in Canada. I think it's called My Monsters. Yeah, she's on Facebook, and I think she has a website. So she makes these monsters from like old clothes. And so I kept thinking, oh, I gotta find the perfect old clothes to make me one. Because, yeah, I could buy one from her, but I like to make. So I don't plan on making any of these to sell, by the way. I'm just making them because I like to make stuff. And it was requested from my sister-in-law, where we both like them, and she was hoping I would make her kiddo one, so my nephew. So I'm going to try to make some cool monsters. We'll see how that goes. All right, so that's for my future project. I have some fabric pulled out, but it's really dark in my house, and my light bulb burnt out on my sewing machine. I ordered new ones from Amazon, so hopefully they'll come in the next couple days. But I'm going into my work week, and next week I have a shoulder thing, 2 classes in PT all week. So I don't know if it'll be a couple weeks before I can start that, maybe. I wanted to start it, now, but realistically, I can't do that. Okay, so next is, I just want to shout out for a couple podcasters that I like to watch. So I watch Crazy Sock Lady. I like to watch Finnish Knitting Stories, The Fat Squirrel Speaks, and Les Garçon. That is, okay, so the designer, Maximus Sear, that's him and his husband's channel. So I really like those. So go check those out. I'm sure, I don't know if you like them too, but I imagine you would. All right, so that's all I have. All I have for now. I mean, I could ramble for forever, but we're not going to. So I will try to see you next Thursday. I'm going to try this once a week. Podcasting once a week. Thursday seems like a good day for me to do that. So I'm going to shoot for that. That doesn't mean that'll happen completely, but I'm going to try to be consistent and do it that way. Because I can record while my husband takes my son to his therapy appointment, and then they're both gone, and the dogs can stay pretty chill. And my mother-in-law's here. She could come running around, but not likely. So this is the best time for me to record. All right. So I will talk to you next week, and have a great week. Bye.